Welcome to Melissa's Reading Room. Today in the room, we're going to read A Terrible Thing Happened by Margaret M. Holmes, illustrated by Kari Pilo. To all children who struggle with the aftermath of tragedy and their dedicated caregivers. To Ruth Gold for her dedication to helping children. Sherman Smith saw the most terrible thing. He was very upset. It really scared Sherman to see such a terrible thing. Sherman did not like feeling so afraid. He did not want to remember what happened. So, Sherman decided not to think about the terrible thing he saw. Sherman thought that would make him feel better. At first, the plan seemed to work. Sherman woke up every morning, he brushed his teeth, and he went to school. Sherman played with his friends, he teased his sister, and he walked the dog. Everything seemed all right for a while, but something inside of Sherman was starting to bother him. Sherman had to play more, run faster, and sing louder in order to forget the terrible thing he saw. Other things started happening too. Other things started happening to Sherman too. Sometimes he did not feel hungry. Sometimes his stomach hurt or his head hurt. Sometimes he felt sad, but he did not know why. Sometimes he was nervous for no reason at all. Sometimes he did not sleep very well. Sometimes, when he did sleep, he had very bad dreams. The bad dreams scared Sherman. All of these things made Sherman angry. It seemed like Sherman was angry all the time. Sherman started getting into trouble at school. Sometimes he felt so angry that he did mean things. Getting into trouble so often made Sherman feel bad. He's in the principal's office. Sherman did not understand all of his bad feelings. He felt confused. Sometimes parents help children figure out their feelings. Sometimes teachers or grown-ups or other grown-ups help. That is how Sherman met Ms. Maple. Ms. Maple helped Sherman think about his feelings. She listened while Sherman talked to her. They played while they talked. Sherman did not feel as mixed up when he talked to Miss Maple. Once, when Sherman and Ms. Maple were coloring, She told him to draw a picture of how he felt when he was angry. This seemed like a strange thing to draw, but Sherman did it. After that, Sherman drew lots of pictures. Pictures of the pain in his stomach, pictures of the bad dreams he had, pictures of the fear he felt. At last, pictures of the terrible thing he saw. Sherman and Ms. Maple talked about the pictures. He asked if the terrible thing he saw was his fault. Sherman said he worried a lot about that. No, Ms. Maple told Sherman, it was not your fault. Sherman told Ms. Maple a lot of things. He told her about the bad dreams. He told her how scared he felt. It was all very hard to do. Ms. Maple was proud that Sherman was trying to talk about such hard things. Sherman found that it felt good to let his feelings out. Feeling good helped Sherman feel stronger. When Sherman felt stronger, he did not feel so angry. Nothing can change the terrible thing that Sherman saw. But now, he does not feel so mean. He is not so scared or worried. His stomach does not hurt as much, and the bad dreams hardly ever happen. Sherman Smith is feeling much better now. He just thought you would want to know. The end. A note to parents and caregivers. Witnesses to a violent or traumatic events are considered secondary victims. Surprisingly, research indicates that a child who is a secondary victim is more likely to turn to violence in the future than a child who is a primary victim. However, when children are able to talk to caring adults and understand their feelings after witnessing a traumatic event, the likelihood that they will perpetuate violence in the future is reduced. A terrible thing happened can thus be used to help open the channels of communication with a child who has witnessed any terrible thing, including accidents of any kind, such as a vehicle crash, an electrocution, or a fall, assault, school violence, domestic violence, gang violence, situations of abuse, including substance abuse, death, homicide, suicide, natural disasters such as tornadoes, hurricanes, or floods, fire, acts of war, or their aftermath. Parents and other caregivers are often unsure of how to work with a child who has been traumatized by such events. These suggestions might be helpful. 1. This may be the child's first experience of having his or her basic belief system questioned. Such children's sense of security and safety has been threatened, which cannot help but change their view of the world. This is a very real loss for a child and should be viewed as an experience that causes grief, much like the death of someone they love. 2. Use words that are both real and accurate and avoid euphemisms. Substitute words and phrases, although seemingly comforting to adults, can add to the child's confusion about what it is that he or she witnessed. 3. The child may be too terrified to even speak of the event for fear of repercussions or other reasons. Help to create a safe space for him or her to eventually tell the story and express the resulting feelings. 4. Give the child several modes for describing or acting out the event. Dolls, drawing materials, paint, crayons, sand, clay, puppets, stuffed animals, and other appropriate toys can all be used. 5. Recurring nightmares are very common. The more the child is able to safely tell the story, the more these will diminish. 6. Keep in mind that the different types of trauma will result in different issues for each child. For example, if the trauma was a car accident, the fear of riding in a car may develop. If the event was gang violence, the child may not want to go outdoors. Domestic violence may result in problematic issues or trust, or more seriously, attachment disorders. 7. Guilt and a sense of responsibility are normal reactions when children witness violence or trauma. Help the child to understand that the event was not his or her fault. Children's minds are often plagued with the if-onlys, much as adults are. 8. Children who have witnessed violence or trauma can experience fear, guilt, denial, anger, rage, confusion, desire for revenge, and loneliness in any combination. In this story, Sherman internalizes his feelings, which turns into constant pangs of anger that are exhibited by his getting into trouble at school and doing mean things. He doesn't want to do these things, but he feels like he can't help himself. Watch for signs indicating that the child is struggling with any of these feelings. 9. Be aware that when internalizing fear and other feelings, the child can also be physically affected. In this story, for example, Sherman experiences loss of appetite, headaches, stomach aches, and sleeplessness. 10. Some children, particularly girls, may react to witnessing violence or trauma by becoming more quiet, withdrawn, or introverted. Their suffering is more likely to go unnoticed or unaddressed. Be watchful and be prepared to offer special attention to help them express themselves, whether through play, art, or talking to a caring adult. 11. Attempt to maintain the child's daily routine as much as possible. This continuity helps provide the child with some sense of security and stability during a time of uncertainty. 12. Maintaining rules and expectations is very important for rebuilding the child's feelings of security. Continue to expect the child to abide by the household and classroom rules, even as he or she is working through this experience. 13. The child may already feel very different from the others because of this experience. His or her self-esteem could in fact be greatly diminished. It is important that the child be not singled out for special privileges or compensations. He or she needs to feel a part of the peer group and should be expected to function accordingly. 14. Be prepared to listen well with your ears, eyes, and heart to what your child has to teach you about his or her grief. 15. Consider having the child meet with a professional, even for one session, to rule out the need for formal therapy. The end. Thank you for coming to the reading room today, boys and girls. Bye-bye.